All right, guys, Sam here, back with you one final time today. Had another member interested in a look at CANN to Bitcoin. So this is, I don't know much about this coin, so I'm just going to tell you that straight off the bat. So what I would do, since if I'm looking at a coin that I don't recognize, I will go over to CoinGecko and see if I can get a little handle on it. Oh, it's a cannabis coin. Well, isn't that interesting? Okay, so with this, it doesn't surprise me here that we're getting interest and participation. That this has become an interesting topic and an interesting project here, given the legalization now in California most recently. So I understand why this might be all of the weed coins or pot coins, whatever you want to call them, getting some attention and some interest here. So we can see here now, it's I always tell you look for scores of 50 or higher. Now this could get there. We're at 44 right now, market cap of 25 million. So it's a project that's worth looking at. You can do a little bit of fundamental research, get a better understanding of what they're about and what it is that makes them unique over any of the other cannabis coins. But it's worth a look. So if we come back here and then we look at the trading exchange, let's see where the volume is. So 97% of it is to Bitcoin on Bittrex. Okay, so I just happen to have it over here on Coinigy. I wanted to kind of make the point here that so I'm going all the way back here to where it starts with on the Bittrex exchange. So and we can see here back. So we're back to what do we do? August of 2014, and this is a coin that's been prone to pumps and dumps. So just moving along here, just moving along here, we're getting this pump cycle. The minor pump, then long accumulation. Then we go along again, nothing happening. I mean, there's some trading here, so I'm not saying this wasn't tradable, but at some point we get this, right? So what do you do with that? That's June 19th of 2017. I don't know. That could be a bad tick for all I know. I don't know what happened there, but I know that it's really not relevant to where we are now, sitting here in 2018, because after that we go into this long consolidation period. So I'm going to go down to an hourly and get that off the screen because it really doesn't help us. So we can see these pumps. It's high volatility here in all of the cannabis coins. So you can see again, there's trading here. It's a cycle of pump and dump. But eventually it starts to move yet again, and it may be that now we have something more meaningful and more sustainable. So here's the beginning of the most recent pump effort. Okay, so and it's technical. So from that low, after that long consolidation, then this is the first time where we start to get some structure. So we get a 5-wave sequence to complete what may well be a 1-wave. So given a 5-wave, we're now anticipating a 3-wave subdivision. And yet even here, after this pump, so it would be a pump on a relative scale in terms of percentage gain if you're a buyer down here. We get the 1, then we get the 3-wave into the A, 3-wave into the B, here's the C. So even in the second, where it's much less common, we're getting the truncated C wave, right? Doesn't make the low of the A. And then we start up. Now, here we start to get some more structure. So again, I know I'm doing this in hindsight, but when you're sitting right here, after a 2, well, all you know is that you're now anticipating a 3, and you're looking for that to go at least 100% of the length of the 1-wave. So from this pivot down here, which is potentially our 2, this looks like we're shaping into some sort. Potentially this is the 1, 2 of the third, but then it starts to really accelerate. So I'm trying to show it to you as though you didn't know what was coming. So potentially, right? So pulling fibs, just working off of my 2 low here. Potentially, I get a 1, then an A, B, C. We come down. Here's where you'd expect it between the 50 and the 618. Even though it's a little odd shaped, it's we're not quite an expanded, but we get this action. So potentially, you might have this for a truncated 5th here, but you get an A, B, C. Either way, whichever one you're pulling from, you're getting your 50 right here. So here's your entry after a 3-wave subdivision. And then it just goes vertical, just straight up. So if you bought this, right, so here's your algo target. And this is the thing about crypto. So you might say to yourself, so if you're not trading Elliott Wave, you might say to yourself, okay, well there's my algo target, reasonable place to take some profit. I have a swing low, swing high. There's my 50. Algo is going to take profit at the negative 23. But if you're trading this in an Elliott context, well, the first target that you have is at least you're going 100% of the length of the one from this pivot. So this, you're not even there yet. It's just beginning, and relative to wave relationships, that the highest probability for a third wave relative to the length of the one projected from the two is 1.618, the length of the one. So you can anticipate, so even if you took some partial here, you know that it's not unreasonable to let this run, because if it's going to follow an Elliott count, you've got substantially more upside here that's available to you. So now I got to pull this off, right? So because we go so far beyond it. So let me put it now into context. So here's that two wave. So you can see here, from this one, there's our two. Remember, here was potentially a place where you'd be taking profit. Well, look what you left on the table. And now, of course, there's no way to know that's coming. You don't know. And I thought this was worth noting for people that are don't want to get into this kind of complexity or this level of technical analysis. I would call it precision trading. But others, might say, "Whoa, that's just way too much work. I don't have time or the inclination to do that." Here's traditional breakout trading. This is how you would trade equities. So you get this long range here, and then you get a breakout here. Now, I'm not a breakout trader. I look at that and I go, okay, where's your stop? Well, your stop's got to be down here. I don't like that risk reward. But a breakout trader can look at this. This is pretty perfect because you get a little breakout, then it comes back to check the support, right? Prior resistance, again, offers the support here. So even with the breakout, so if I were to blow that up, if I can get you to look at that. As you can see this here, so we get through. So there's the breakout of the range. Then it comes back and it checks the support, and then it goes vertical. So, it caught my eye. It's not how I trade, but that's something worth noting, right? There's a style of trading for everyone. So, given that I'm now anticipating a 1, 2, 3, right? Again, there's no way to know that that's coming, but this is. They really want me to know about this block that was discovered. Okay, so here we get the big rocket move. So what do you do with that? Okay, well, if you caught that, congratulations. I hope you took some profit up here. So so again, as has been prone with the weed coins, we get the big pump, and now we're giving it all back. Well, at least at this point, we haven't given all of it back. We've given about 75% of it back. So as an Elliott trader, all I can do is look at that and go, well, as long as it doesn't overlap the one, I'm still in an impulsive count. So all I can do is just draw from my 2 low right here up to my 3 high, and take a look, see what I get. Well, we're almost to the 786, which is extreme, definitely extreme for a fourth. But given the range of the third, I suppose that makes some degree of sense. So we still have the potential. Now for this, if this is our pivot, if that's our 1, 2, we could start moving that way. But it's not. Boy, that's annoying. Coinigy, we got to stop that. Okay, so I'm going to open this up and get a better look at it. Now, could this be complete? Well, it certainly could be. We get the subdivision that we'd anticipate here. So I'm going to take that off for the time being. So we do get an ABC here. So we get this. It's a very shallow B wave, but it's there. So we may well have a completed structure. And then given the shape of that, probably not surprising that this would warrant a channel, because we get this nice channel here. So potentially we've got, let me tighten that up a little bit. There we go. So we potentially got an ABC. We get that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got all the subdivision we'd anticipate. We come to it's an extreme, but we haven't overlapped the 1. So that very well could be the pivot that we work from as a 4 low. Well, if that's the case, and we're going to go up and challenge those highs, well, we got a long way to go. So there's lots of upside here. But we need to see this move impulsively and give us a 5-wave subdivision. So far, I don't see it. Even if I go down to the 15-minute, try and get a handle on this, it's not quite there yet. So we've got a 1, 2, but let's check it. So how would you approach this? So we could have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a 1. So let me just mark this off as potentially potentially we've got a 1-2. So we got to check it. So because it would be a one wave, I think we're likely like that. Because it would be a one wave, we could have a leading diagonal, but we got to check the length of the third. So given that, that looks like it may be a little short. So if I pull it from down here up to my 1 high, project from my 2 low, yeah, we're short, right? So now, remember, now the third doesn't have to be the longest, but it can't be the shortest. So right now, I'm suspicious of this because potentially what we have here is not a 1, 2, 3 because we didn't make the 100%. What we may well have is an ABC. So if I look at it this way, so you got to be prepared. So this becomes an alternate count. So we may well have an A, a B, and a C, and that would give us. So if that's the case, now I've got to pull back out into to a larger degree. So if that's, so let me zoom out. So let's go back to the 1 hour and get some perspective here. So potentially, because we don't make 100%, we may well have this. We may have, if I put it in a larger degree, we may have an A, a B, and a C. We don't know where that bottoms, but that's potentially. Let me go up to a larger degree. We'll go to minor, and I'll go to blue. So potentially, we have this thing shaping up here. So we may well have an A, a B, and then down for a fourth down here to complete that subdivision because we didn't get a 5-wave structure there. Now, it's certainly possible that we go from that pivot here, we go up higher. That's not what I want. I want an arrow. We go higher. That's what I want. We go from here and we go up this direction, we get a 5-wave subdivision. But remember, the third can't be the shortest. So if we do get a push up here and we take out this high, this has to be shorter than the length from what I have currently labeled as the B. That would be the 1, 2. This has got to be shorter, so it would have to be a very shallow fifth to not have the third end up as the shortest. So right now, it's too soon to tell. It wouldn't surprise me, given the length, the extreme range of the third, that we get more complexity here in a fourth. And then this wouldn't be surprising either, that we're going to get that pattern that we see all the time in crypto, where we get that truncated C wave here. Now, it's just kind of a wait and see. I would also be looking at this, since we know we've got a potential pivot here. Boy, that is annoying. I got to figure out how to get that to stop popping up. Okay, so let's measure this. So from here to my low here, it's shallow for a B wave. B wave typically between the 50 and the 618. But right now, given the extreme move here and the tendency for this thing to pump and dump, I'd be cautious right here. If I were not in, I just need more information to get a sense of where we are in the count. Is this a B, or am I going impulsive here and starting off in a 1 wave? It wouldn't surprise me if there's one more push down. So if that's the case, then you could just keep it simple and work from the pivot low here to the pivot high, looking for anything between the 50 and the 618. Potentially 786, even if we end up with a 1-2. I know this is a candidate. So now it's really just a matter of looking for the right subdivision to give you confidence into the next trade. Too soon to call for me. Was just kind of a wait and see. All right, and because this is just annoying as hell, I'm going to wrap it here. So that's what I have there for CANN, for CannabisCoin. And we'll just have to revisit this. So it's the kind of thing you'd alarm it here. I'd alarm it at the 618, see if I get a wick down here, and I'd be alarming up here at the 50 to see if I'm going to get a push up to new highs. Okay, guys, I'll wrap it there.